Welcome to the unnamed lands, where the natural wonders of the Americas remain hidden, waiting for the first, and perhaps last, curious glance. There, they are like rough gems covered in the dust of time. Magnificent, majestic, but ignored by the modern world, as if they had never existed. This is not just a journey of geographical discovery, but a whisper from the past, inviting you to listen to what time deliberately hides. Ciudad Perdida, also known as the Lost City, hides in the dense tropical forests of Colombia like an unsolved mystery. No map marked this place for centuries, and it was not until 1972 that it quietly emerged from the mists of time. When you step onto the moss-covered stone steps, more than 750 handmade steps connecting the forest floors, it feels like you are stepping into ancient time itself. Each stone slab, each meticulously arranged circular brick wall tells a story that no one dares to confirm. Some of the stones depict geometric symbols that have never been deciphered, like secret signals sent from a silent civilization. It is said that, at night, the stone circles have moved slightly, even when no one is near, leaving a shiver mixed with curiosity for those who witness them. Ciudad Perdida is not just an archaeological site. It is a place that awakens a feeling of smallness, sacredness, and a strong urge to understand a world that once existed and then quietly disappeared. From the sacred stone steps of Ciudad Perdida, the journey leads us to Iguazú Falls, where nature no longer whispers like in the ancient forest, but roars violently, with hundreds of waterfalls pouring between the border of Brazil and Argentina. It seems that the heart of America is beating enthusiastically in that white mist. During the high water season, nearly 300 waterfalls combine to form a giant wall of water stretching more than 2 kilometers, resounding like a symphony of heaven and earth. Under the pouring water, the 130-million-year-old basalt layer quietly tells the story of its volcanic past, while the 8-0-meter-deep fissure below is living evidence of thousands of years of relentless erosion. Sometimes, the water changes color in just a few minutes. No one knows why. There are also species of insects here that have never been classified, as if nature itself wants to keep its own secrets. Iguazu is not only overwhelming, it makes you feel so small, so fragile before the boundless and magical power of creation. Leaving behind the fierce echoes of Iguazu, we step into another space, quiet, lofty, and sacred, where Machu Picchu stands proudly among the clouds of the Andes at an altitude of nearly 400 meters. No need for words. This place makes your heart stop at first sight. The stone blocks are fitted together without mortar, yet they have stood firm through many earthquakes, as if the mountain itself taught the Incas how to build with nature. More than 150 structures, from temples, houses, to plazas, blend into a perfect whole, like a stone symphony for the gods. Underground, ancient drainage channels still silently protect the city from floods, proving the hydraulic engineering beyond the ages. But hidden deeper are buried structures of unknown function, challenging all hypotheses. In Machu Picchu, we not only discover a relic, but also touch an ancient soul, quiet, but as strong as the wind blowing in the sacred sky. Leaving the cloud-covered peaks of Machu Picchu, we fall into a completely different world, a giant abyss carved by time and river, the Grand Canyon. Here, the high vertical cliffs reveal layers of geology, like ancient book pages, recounting nearly 2 billion years of Earth's history in bands of red, purple, brown, and yellow. At the bottom of the canyon, underground streams over 12,000 years old still flow silently, not connected to any modern rivers, as if still whispering a story that humans have never fully heard. When night falls, something strange happens. Glowing scorpions appear among the dry sand and rocks, like prehistoric fireflies. The Grand Canyon is more than just a natural wonder. It is a living testament to the life, death, and quiet rebirth of the planet. This place makes you stop, look up, and realize that you are just a small dot in the giant flow of time. In contrast to the softness and mystery of the Serpent Mound, Monte Alban rises majestically in the heart of Mexico, a city of stone perched atop an artificial plateau, as if the ancients had built their entire civilization on the backs of the clouds. Nearly 2,000 meters above sea level, this place was once the political and ceremonial center of the ancient Zapotec civilization for more than 1,000 years. The paved roads, ceremonial plazas, underground drainage systems, and stelae carved with strangely posed figures, possibly prisoners or sacrifices, evoke a world of interwoven light and darkness. Some tombs were discovered with gold, murals, and luxurious items, proving that social stratification appeared very early. In particular, the symbols carved on the stone are believed to be one of the first writing systems in the Americas. Standing in the middle of Monte Alban, one feels not just looking at ruins, but listening to the echoes of a culture that once stood proudly in the sky, now reduced to wind and stone. Enter the cold northern wind, where Meadows sits quietly on the northern tip of Newfoundland, Canada. There are no pyramids, no stone monuments, but the simple wooden houses covered in moss tell a story that overturns history, that the Vikings arrived in the Americas nearly 500 years before Columbus. The site was discovered in 1960, and through it, archaeologists have found the remains of ironworks, ship rivets, and metalworking tools. Clear evidence of a maritime culture that once crossed the Atlantic. In the cold, salty wind blowing in from the sea, you can imagine those Norsemen sitting by the fire, repairing ships, hunting, and looking out at the endless horizon as they had for centuries. Not loud, not majestic, but Meadows makes people silent. Because sometimes, history is not written in glory, but in the quiet resilience in the wilderness and the sea wind. While the moss-covered roofs of Meadows whisper about the icy expedition, far to the south, amid the sand and sea wind of Peru, there appears another sign, strange, abstract, and no one knows why it exists, the Paracas Candelabra. On a hillside facing the Pacific Ocean, this strange image stretches nearly 200 meters, like a giant three-pronged lamp carved into the ground by removing the top layer of black stone to reveal the lighter sand underneath. Although it is believed to belong to the Paracas culture and has existed since the 3rd century BC, its true purpose remains a great mystery. Is it a religious symbol or a beacon for ancient sailors? In the 1952nd, a piece of pottery with a distinctive pattern was discovered at the base of the carving. adding to the mythical mist that surrounds the site. Standing in front of the Paracas Candelabra, you are not just looking at a symbol, you are facing a giant question mark left by your ancestors in the desert, looking straight out to sea as if waiting for an answer that has yet to come. In northeastern Brazil, where the harsh climate and scorching sun stretch across the rocky plateaus, Serra da Capivara stands as a resilient testament to early humans, a living museum in the wilderness. In contrast to the abstractness of Paracas Candelabra, this place is filled with thousands of emotional rock paintings depicting daily life, rituals, animals, and even inexplicable images. With more than 1,200 archaeological sites in an area of 1,300 square kilometers, Serra da Capivara has shocked the scientific world. Many carbon samples have been dated to over 20,000 years old, breaking old theories about when humans first arrived in the Americas. In fact, some fossilized footprints found here do not match any modern humans. When you stand in the middle of that scene, red cliffs, dry forests with fallen leaves, birds soaring through deep caves, there is something that makes you pause. Is it possible that here, history is not only written in words, but also in the shadows of ancient people imprinted on the rocks, and still alive in them? Have you ever wondered how many ancient mysteries are still buried under the dense forests, sand and rocks that we have never known? If you are passionate about mysterious places and traces of lost civilizations, subscribe to the channel today to join us in discovering the secrets that time deliberately hides. Continuing through the carved cliffs of Serra da Capivara, the journey takes us to the Ecuadorian plateau, where Ingapirca, the largest Inca site in the country, quietly lies between the clouds and the wild grasslands. Not a majestic pyramid, nor a magnificent temple, but the oval temple, Temple of the Sun, makes people stunned by the precision of each stone slab fitted together without mortar. Those stones not only came from a place more than 20 kilometers away, but were also transported through rugged terrain. How? Is still a big question mark. What is more miraculous? The stone slabs are arranged according to the axis of light. On special days of the year, the sun shines right in the center of the temple, like a greeting from the universe. Notably, this place also bears traces of the ancient Cañari culture, creating a rare harmony between two civilizations. Standing in the middle of Ingapirca, we not only see stones, but also see ancient hands, dedicating all their faith and knowledge to the sun, to the earth, and to eternal life. From the meditative rocks of Ingapirca, we are transported to a completely different world. Lençóis Maranhenses, where white sand dunes stretch to the horizon like a natural silk fabric floating in the middle of northeastern Brazil. Every rainy season, thousands of freshwater lakes suddenly appear in the middle of the sandy desert, creating a breathtakingly surreal scene where turquoise and milky white intertwine like a painting. Unlike any other desert in the world, the clay layer hidden under the sand retains water, allowing the lagoons to survive for weeks in the blazing sun. Small fish suddenly appear in the newly formed lakes, as if life always knows how to return, despite the harshest conditions. The natives say that this place was created by the gods to test the resilience of humans. And indeed, as you wade through the cool water under the blazing sky, a strange feeling wells up that there are lands not meant to be understood, but to be felt with all the senses and with awe. After the dark corridors of Sistema Sac-Acton, we step out into a place of surreal reflection, Salar de Uyuni, the largest salt flat on the planet, lying quietly in the heart of Bolivia. Spanning more than 10,000 square kilometers, this place is like a giant mirror when it rains, reflecting the sky so much that people cannot distinguish what is real and what is virtual. Beneath that vast white layer of salt is a thin layer of water, which creates the phenomenon of the mirror sky. But it does not always happen, like a miracle only for those who are patient enough to wait. The Salar is more than just a stunning landscape. It's home to nearly half of the world's lithium reserves and ancient microbes that survive the harsh, dry, salty conditions that have fueled hopes of finding life beyond Earth. In 2007, a probe deep below the surface suddenly stopped working, for reasons that have yet to be explained. And in the midst of that white space, you find yourself on the fragile border between absolute beauty and things that have never been fully understood by humans. In contrast to the surreal reflection of sky and earth in Salar de Uyuni, Chaco Canyon appears like a stone epic, carved deep into the New Mexico desert, where the ancient Pueblo people built a world with their hands and their faith. In the dry, windswept landscape, sandstone structures towered, some as high as 4 stories, connected by a network of straight roads that stretched for miles, despite the absence of wheels and pack animals. Archaeologists have found ceremonial buildings, complex water systems, and even rooms precisely aligned with the cycles of the sun and moon, suggesting an astonishing knowledge of astronomy. Although abandoned in the 13th century, the reason remains a matter of debate, drought, war, or spiritual shift. Chaco Canyon may not be as dazzling as a waterfall or as mysterious as a cave, but when you stand in the shadow of the stone walls that once sheltered an entire culture, you feel it clearly. This is a place of wisdom, of community, and of endurance that transcends time. But beyond the ancient ruins and echoes of the past at Chaco Canyon, we enter a completely different scene, where modern science once reached out to the cosmos, the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Nestled in a green valley, the giant 300-meter-wide dish was once the eyes and ears of humanity, listening for signals from the stars, searching for alien life, and measuring the movements of distant planets. In its more than 50 years of operation, Arecibo sent its first messages into space, recorded radio waves from distant galaxies, and issued early warnings of dangerous asteroids. But then, in 2020, a section of the giant suspension wire suddenly snapped, and shortly after, the entire structure collapsed in a sound like the broken heart of human knowledge and dreams. Today, the observatory is just a vestige, but those who have been here still remember that feeling very clearly, that in the middle of this tropical jungle, people once looked up to the sky with hope, wisdom, and a desire to reach the farthest stars. In contrast to the vision of reaching the stars of Arecibo, Cueva del Indio, also in Puerto Rico, brings us back to the ground, deep into the ancient limestone, where the traces of the indigenous Taino people are still engraved on every cliff. Nestled on the coast, this cave is not only a masterpiece of nature with magical curved stone arches and murmuring waves underfoot, but also a sacred place where the ancients entrusted their beliefs, spirituality, and things that cannot be expressed in words. The drawings on the walls, depicting people, animals, boats, and divine symbols, cover both the ceiling and the floor of the cave, as if this place was once a secret cathedral reserved for the chosen ones. In a deep hollow of rock, one finds distinct carvings, suggesting a mysterious ritual that has yet to be deciphered. Amid the cool darkness and the constant sound of the waves offshore, Cueva del Indio makes you feel one thing clearly. It is not just a place that preserves history, but also the soul of a culture that once proudly stood on this Caribbean island. Guatapé, a colorful pearl located on the deep blue lake in the Antioquia region, is not only a town, but also a vivid picture painted by history, art, and memory. Every step around Guatapé is a journey through the cobblestone streets, where the walls of houses are decorated with colorful zócalos, telling the stories of the local people, from the coffee harvest to indigenous legends, from religious beliefs to childhood memories. The space here seems to light up under the sunlight, making people feel like they are lost in a poetic fairy tale world. What is special is that every detail, no matter how small, exudes the community's love for this land. Guatapé is not simply a tourist destination. It is a symbol of pride, a place where the past and present intersect in each color, awakening in each visitor a sense of wonder and sincere emotion. And then, when leaving the bright streets of Guatapé, your eyes cannot miss the towering figure of El Peñón de Guatapé, a giant rock that seems to rise from the ground, majestic and full of mystery. With an estimated age of more than 65 million years, this rock is not only a geological wonder, but also a spiritual symbol of indigenous communities, once respectfully called Mojara. From afar, it looks like a silent tower guarding the lake. But when you get closer, each step leading to the top of the rock, more than 700 steps, is a fascinating challenge. The higher you go, the thinner the air becomes, but it is there, when you stand on the top and look out over the vast lake and the small, sparkling islands, all fatigue seems to disappear. El Peñón not only touches the eyes, but also touches the soul, a place that makes the small person feel the universe is vast and magical. From the top of El Peñón, when the wind blows through your hair and the sunlight reflects sparklingly on the water, appearing before your eyes is Lake Peñol Guatapé, a beautiful maze of winding streams between lush peninsulas. Few people expect that such breathtaking natural beauty was created by a hydroelectric project, which once submerged many villages and forced people to leave their homeland. But over time, the old wounds seem to have merged with the blue water, leaving behind a space that is both poetic and melancholy. The lake is now the soul of the entire land, where kayaks glide gently in the quiet afternoon, where villas along the shore reflect on the lake like a painting. Peñol Guatapé is not just an artificial lake, but a testament to the miraculous transformation. From loss to revival, from tranquility to excitement, where nature and people together continue to write new stories. Just a short walk from Cabo San Juan through the forested trails is Playa Nudista, the most pristine and free beach in Tayrona Park. With no flashy signs or noisy services, this place retains its original tranquility and originality. Just fine white sand, giant rocks, and waves lapping at the sun. An official nudist beach, Playa Nudista is unpretentious but humble, respecting privacy and a deep connection with nature. It is the seclusion, no roads and few human footprints, that makes this place an ideal destination for those seeking a feeling of absolute liberation, not only of the body, but also of the soul. Here, under the open sky, people can be themselves, temporarily putting aside the constraints of society to listen to the rhythm of the sea, of the wind, and of their own hearts. A sacred silence that no other place can offer. Leaving the Caribbean coast and the salty winds of Tayrona, the journey takes us inland to Santa Fe de Antioquia, an ancient town that seems to have stepped out of a history book, where time seems to have stopped hundreds of years ago. With its cobblestone streets, whitewashed houses with dark brown wooden doors, and curved red tiled roofs, this town is a living testament to the Spanish colonial period that still leaves a deep mark on its architecture and lifestyle. Established in the 16th century and once the capital of the Antioquia region, Santa Fe has the air of a golden city, both solemn and graceful. Wandering down the ancient corridors, listening to the church bells ringing in the hot noon sun, people's hearts seem to calm down, touching the old but still lively things. This is not just a place to visit, but a space to feel the intersection of faith, memory, and the eternal beauty of a once glorious Colombia. Nestled at the foot of the majestic Sierra Nevada, the village of Minca appears as a gentle silence between wild nature and the soul of the traveler in need of healing. Unlike crowded cities or noisy tourist destinations, Minca has a slow, leisurely pace of life, where the sound of streams babbles, the chirping of forest birds, and the fragrant aroma of coffee spreads in the morning mist. This is an ideal stop for those who want to temporarily leave the modern pace of life to immerse themselves in the mountains and forests. Visitors come to Minca not only to relax, but also to feel the cool water of Marinka waterfall, the sweetness of fresh fruit picked from the garden, and the gentle smiles of the local people. The traditional coffee farms that weave through the hillsides are not only places of production, but also stories told through flavor. In Minca, every moment has its own beauty, simple, sincere, and full of nature, like a precious gift of the mountains and forests for those who know how to stop and listen. Hidden deep in the tangled, misty jungles of the Sierra Nevada, Ciudad Perdida, the lost city, emerges like a whisper from the distant past. Built some 650 years before Machu Picchu by the ancient Tayrona civilization, it was once a vibrant center of commerce, religion, and ritual, and today only moss-covered stone steps, circular plazas, and ancient stone paths lead through the jungle. There are no cars or cable cars to get here, only your feet, your will, and a few days of crossing waterfalls, climbing steep slopes, and sleeping in the jungle to reach this sacred place. It is precisely this inaccessibility that makes Ciudad Perdida retain its pristine, mysterious, and rare tranquility. For the Kogi people, descendants of the Tairona, this place is not just a historical site, but a center of vital energy, where their ancestors are still present. Stepping up each ancient stone step is entering another world, where time stops and people's hearts touch the sacred in every breath. Continuing the legendary streak from Guatavita, the journey leads us to Tequendama Falls, a majestic and mysterious symbol located on the edge of the Bogota Plateau. From a height of more than 130 meters, the Bogota River falls into a deep ravine, creating a white column of water amidst a dense fog, as if nature were exhaling secrets that have been dormant for thousands of years. But Tequendama is not only a natural wonder. It is also a place where indigenous legends and sad colonial history crystallize. According to Muisca mythology, it was the god Bochica who used his magic staff to split this cliff in two to free the villagers from the Great Flood, opening up a fertile valley for life to flourish. Meanwhile, modern history has covered this place with dark stories, once a place associated with tragedy and despair. However, Tequendama Falls still makes people unable to take their eyes off, like a fierce symphony between light and darkness, between the enchanting beauty and the haunting depth of human memory. Amidst the rolling hills of the Antioquia region, Cerro Tusa suddenly rises with a proud appearance like a giant pyramid, completely created by nature. This is the largest natural pyramid in the world, a rare geological phenomenon formed from an ancient volcanic crater. Through millions of years of erosion and elevation by tectonic activity between the Coco, Nazca, and South American plates. From afar, Cerro Tusa looks like a mysterious man-made structure built to guard the peaceful valley below. For the indigenous people, this mountain is not only a scenic spot, but also a sacred place associated with the legend of the Mirror Goddess, a rock at the foot of the mountain that once reflected the sunlight as a message from the gods. The journey to the top of Cerro Tusa is a real challenge, with an almost vertical slope, but the reward is a breathtaking view. Leaving behind the majestic mountains and forests, we come to Cali, a city filled with sunshine and music, where every step seems to resonate with the vibrant salsa rhythm. Cali is not only a major cultural center of Colombia, but is also known as the salsa capital of the world, where music is not on stage but exists in every street corner, in every heartbeat of the people. Leaving the cool green of Guatapé and the vast lake, the journey continues to take us to a completely different land, the Tatacoa Desert, where the wild and surreal beauty makes the traveler's heart flutter. Not a typical bright golden sand desert, Tatacoa appears like an abstract painting with two contrasting colors, burning red in the Cusco region and cold, lonely gray in Los Hoyos. This land used to be a lush tropical forest, but through thousands of years of climate change, it gradually became a semi-desert, quiet, ancient, and full of mystery. The deep grooves carved into the ground are like natural mazes, carved by time and wind. At night, Tatacoa turns into a sparkling, starry sky, one of the most ideal places to watch the galaxy in South America. In the absolute silence, standing in the middle of the desert, we feel our smallness in the middle of the endless universe, and perhaps that is why Tatacoa makes people both overwhelmed and unforgettable. From the red color of Tatacoa, the journey seems to be purified when reaching Tayrona National Park, where the old forest meets the ocean, and each wave whispers to the green mountains. Located at the foot of the majestic Sierra Nevada, Tayrona is not only a tropical paradise with fine white sand beaches and clear blue water, but also a sacred land of indigenous peoples such as the Kogi, Wiwa, Arhuaco, and Kankuamo. This place is not simply a landscape, but a spiritual one, a land protected by ancient rituals and beliefs. Dense vegetation, mangroves, coral reefs, and over 100 species of wildlife create an incredibly diverse, vibrant, and balanced ecosystem. Tayrona is where you can listen to howler monkeys in the jungle, swim in calm bays, and feel the deep harmony between nature, humans, and the eternal memory of Mother Earth. Secluded in the majestic nature of Tayrona Park, Cabo San Juan del Guia appears like a peaceful dream where the jungle embraces the sea. This is the park's most famous beach, where two gentle coves meet at the foot of a high cliff, on which stands a familiar gazebo, the most popular spot to watch the sunrise and sunset. Under the gentle sunlight, the clear water embraces large rocks, creating safe, natural pools for visitors to swim, snorkel to see coral, or simply lie in a hammock, listening to the waves lapping at the shore. There are no roads leading to this place, so every step to touch Cabo San Juan is the result of a journey through the forest, over the mountains, immersing yourself in the breath of the land and sky. And it is that separation that makes this place strangely pristine. And then, like a miracle in the heart of the Meta jungle, Caño Cristales appears, the river known as the River of Five Colors, or Liquid Rainbow. For just a few short months from June to November, the rocky riverbed here is dyed red by the unique plant Macarenia clavigera, mixed with the yellow, green, blue, and black of moss, algae, and rocks to create an incredibly vivid picture. More than just a beautiful scene, Caño Cristales is a symbol of rebirth, because it was once located in an area of conflict and prolonged war, and now opens to visitors as an affirmation of peace and hope. Each stream here seems to tell a story of nature, a story of resilience, of the miraculous cycle of life that is constantly changing. When the sunlight shines through the clear water, reflecting on the shimmering colors at the bottom of the river, you will understand why this place is not just for looking, but for quiet contemplation. From the magical colors of Caño Cristales, the journey leads us to a completely different place, where faith and architecture blend together in the vertical cliffs. The the sanctuary of Las Lajas. This church is not just a religious building, but a miracle carved into the rock in the middle of a deep canyon in southern Colombia. With its elaborate neo-Gothic architecture, the church is built right on a bridge over the Guaitara River, as if floating in the sky, both fragile and majestic. According to legend, this is where the Virgin Mary appeared to a deaf-mute girl in the 18th century, causing her to suddenly speak. And since then, thousands of pilgrims have come here in search of miracles. The surrounding layers of lodja, thin slabs, are not only building materials, but also the sacred foundation for faith to be deeply engraved. Amidst the mountain mist and the sound of water gurgling under the bridge, Las Lajas not only touches the eyes, but also touches the spiritual realm, making the hearts of visitors suddenly quiet with emotion. Leaving the deep valley and the dome of Las Lajas Church, we look up to touch the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, the highest coastal mountain range in the world, where snow-white peaks stand tall right next to the green tropical forest and the blue Caribbean Sea. This is not only a geographical wonder, but also one of the most sacred and culturally significant places in Colombia. The Sierra Nevada range is like a separate world, completely separated from the Andes, creating a diverse ecosystem with a full range of climates from tropical to glacial in just a few dozen kilometers. But more than that, this is the sacred land of the Kogi, Arhuaco, Wiwa, and Cancuamo indigenous peoples, who still live by an ancient philosophy, considering the mountain the heart of the world, and themselves the guardians of the balance of nature. Surrounded by a sacred circle called Linea Negra, the Sierra not only awes us with its height, but also with the cultural and spiritual depth it has preserved for thousands of years. Leaving the sacred stone steps of Ciudad Perdida, the journey continues to take us to Rocas de Suesca, where nature and people blend in a symphony of rocks, wind, and ancestral memories. Located not far from the capital Bogotá, Rocas de Suesca are giant sandstone cliffs stretching for kilometers, rising straight up to the sky like silent and majestic natural walls. With a diverse terrain of cracks, rock outcrops, and natural rock arches, this place has become the cradle of modern climbing in Colombia, attracting not only adventure athletes, but also souls who love nature and the art of slow living. But Suesca is not just a sports venue. In the caves here, people have discovered dozens of mummies of the Muisca people, the indigenous ancestors, buried in a circle with the leader in the center, proving profound spiritual rituals. The prehistoric drawings still blurred on the cliffs, like the whispers of ancestors, make every step here become precious and full of contemplation. Crossing the mainland and the mountains, we come to San Andres Island, a Caribbean island filled with sunlight, where the sea and sky blend in a magical color palette called the Sea of Seven Colors. Every angle overlooking the ocean here is a new picture. from emerald green to deep blue, all creating a sparkling space like a dream in real life. But San Andrés is not just beautiful in nature. It is also a melting pot of cultures, from the indigenous Mosquito people to the descendants of African slaves and European settlers, creating a unique identity that blends English, Spanish, and Creole, vibrant reggae, and genuine hospitality. The island is a paradise for those who love the sea. Dive the world's third largest coral reef, hike between sand islands like Johnny Cay, or simply rent a scooter and explore every windy corner. On this tiny island, time seems to slow down, making every breeze, every wave, and every smile here an unforgettable part of your memory. Not far from the shore of San Andrés, nestled amidst crystal-clear blue waters, Johnny Cay appears like a small pearl in the middle of the ocean, radiant, pristine, and full of life. Considered a slice of paradise, this white sand island is a place where visitors can walk around the shore in just a few minutes. But each step opens up a mesmerizing view. Coconut trees swaying in the wind, gentle waves lapping the shore, and the sunlight pouring honey on the emerald sea. Johnny Cay is famous not only for its pristine beauty, but also for its liveliness, where you can sit under the shade of coconut trees, enjoy fresh fried fish and coconut rice from a local stall, then dance to the free-spirited reggae playing from the small speakers by the beach. Just a short boat ride from San Andrés, people feel like they are separated from the bustling world to immerse themselves in the pristine beauty and absolute freedom. Johnny Cay is not ostentatious, but it touches people's hearts with the simplicity and purity of the ocean. From the taste of the blue sea and white sand of Johnny Cay, the journey takes us back to the highlands with a majestic and unique scene, Cocora Valley, where Colombian wax palms stretch up to the sky like giant brushes riding on white clouds. This is the homeland of the tallest palm tree in the world, a sacred symbol and also the national tree of Colombia. In the middle of the misty green valley, hundreds of slender palm trees stand firmly like pillars of nature, a scene that is both surreal and emotional. The name Cocora is reminiscent of a legendary princess Quimbaya, meaning Star of Tears. And indeed, this place has a gentle, poetic beauty. The cool air, the chirping of birds, and the smell of damp earth after rain make every step on the Cocora Trail a journey back to the original nature. This is not just a destination, but a place where the heart can breathe deeply, quietly, amidst the vast and eternal things. Nestled among the green hills of the Andes, Guatavita is a small town with a fairy tale appearance, where legend and history are interwoven in every paving stone. Rebuilt in the 1960s after the old town was submerged by the Tomine Dam project, the new Guatavita is a refined replica of the past, with pure white houses, red tile roofs, and quiet squares with a Spanish colonial feel. Every corner here holds memories, not only of a community, but of a world-famous legend, El Dorado. It is said that it was in this land that the Muisca chiefs held sacred ceremonies, in which the chief was covered in gold and rode out to the middle of the lake to make offerings to the gods. Guatavita is not only attractive for its picturesque landscape, but also for its quiet atmosphere, imbued with ancient sacredness. This is a place where time passes slowly, and every visitor is invited to slow down, to listen to the echoes of legends that have never been put to rest.